AI is no longer the future. It's rewriting the rules for business, for people right now, for your data, decisions, and everything that's going on in our lives. This week, I've been at public sector events, including UK government and private sector events. Last night I joined the BCS. It's the UK's professional body for the digital and tech industry. They have been shaping ethical and secure best practice for decades. And whilst everybody loves to watch social media and learn so much from platforms like YouTube, there are bodies of professionals with amazing experience and knowledge who are working behind the scenes to ensure that technology is landed in a safe and ethical manner. I want to thank again Mark Cook for an amazing invite. He keeps me up to date at all of these events. I don't know what I'd do without him. And the event was both timely and relevant to you because it was AI and data security, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There were some amazing speakers. Alon Rosenthal from SecurePie, Dr. John C. Checco from New York, Jayan Krishnamurthy, CEO of Airvonics, Ariel Evans from RiskQ. Some extremely impressive and knowledgeable people who I want to show deep appreciation for because I learned so much in the short time we had on the call yesterday. And I want to share the top 5 lessons from the BCS, AI and data security, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Lesson 1, data fabrics mean you don't have to move your data. Traditionally, with AI and analytics, we'd move data to the model. But with data fabric, we don't need to do that. We move the compute and the analytics and the AI to the data. There's no duplication and no unnecessary security exposure. And this is just so important. In 2018, before data fabrics, the University of Greenwich was fined £120,000 after sensitive research data was exposed through an unsecure system. You don't need to move the data anymore. But if you do, you're potentially going to pay the price, and they did. With data fabrics, these mistakes are avoidable and much more cost efficient for AI systems. Lesson 2. I thought this one was profound, even for me who's been in the storage and technology industry for 20 years. It was a great reminder of what's really important when it comes to data security. Decryption happens somewhere, know where it happens. When your data is at rest, it's encrypted. That's brilliant, but here's the catch. To use it, to process it, it needs to be decrypted. So the question is, where does that happen? When you use platforms like Snowflake and Redshift, your data is decrypted inside that system. It means those companies become part of your trust chain. Take the Air Canada lawsuit as an example. And this is a classic one that seems to be a legal precedent for what's happening around data security and AI. Chatbot promised customer fair didn't actually exist because it accessed live policy data, and the court held the company accountable. Client-side encryption is really the ideal scenario because then when the data is moving or at rest outside of your domain of security, it's always encrypted. That's sovereignty and that's protection. Lesson 3. And this is an easy one to say, but it's a difficult one to do. Clean your data before AI programs, or you're going to regret it in the program or after the program has failed. This one is really simple but difficult to implement, even though the big technology companies have struggled. If you feed any AI bad data, you get bad inferencing and bad results. But the bad thing is that AI might deliver that in a confident way. So you might get bad data delivered confidently, which is quite dangerous. The experimental hiring AI at Amazon ended up downgrading female candidates because it had learned from 10 years of biased data. So before you process anything, you have to fix the data. Bias in, bias out. However, there was an amazing point made regarding bias, and it's one that I need time to take to reflect, and I would encourage anybody who's got an opinion on this to drop it in the comments and engage in open, constructive discussion. As much as you can clean and take out bias of data and process it into an AI, AIs continue to learn, and experiments have been done that show even if you clean and normalize data before an AI starts to process, over time, incrementally, the AI and the data will start to represent traits. So ultimately, behaviors and traits will incrementally manifest themselves within the data as AI continues to learn and grow incrementally through the information that's being processed. Lesson 4, verify then trust, not the other way around, which is an easy mistake to make. This line came from John C. Checo, and it totally stuck with me. And John had some so profound things to say on the call. They're still resonating with me the morning after. I would be so keen, John, to invite you onto Baseline to talk about some of the points that you raised. Verify, then trust. Over the last 10 years, I myself have spent time in decentralized blockchain architectures looking to find this utopia of information security where data is everywhere. There are modern, quite mature architectures called Zero Trust and others. Even with these architectures, it's easy always assume that inferencing and output of AI is correct, especially when it's delivered so confidently. And the confidence of the AI can build confidence in the user, but if that data has not been verified, it can be a misplaced confidence. Confidence does not mean correctness. In 2023, a US law firm submitted fake court documents generated by ChatGPT. They thought it was legit, but the judge ended up fining them. So next time AI gives you an answer that sounds good, verify it and check it. Don't trust by default. And there's no doubt these models are getting better, and there's no doubt these models are incrementally improving. However, lesson 5 is one of the most shocking and scary lessons from the whole event. Lesson 5, and this is the wild one. I hate to do this, put the hook at the end, but this one I still am trying to process in my own mind. Right now, AI is eating itself. Generative AI models are being trained on data that's being generated by AI itself, both by its own generative model and other organizations' generative models. And those models were even trained on models before then. So not only do we have incremental model training, we now have cross-training between data that's being generated out of generative AI models. It's a loop, and it could be getting quite risky. A recent Nature study showed that if you train AI on synthetic information that's been created by inferencing of AI systems, over time, the quality of the output collapses. It loses grip on the original reality of the source information. So as the internet fills up with AI content, which I'm sure you're seeing across all of the social media platforms, business platforms, where the AI generated content that's being produced and pushed, that data is training the next generation of generative AI. Truth and originality and authenticity is becoming harder and harder to find. Some say that's why we still need human-in-the-loop systems. But ultimately, that's why data provenance and source traceability are absolutely critical when we're assessing and verifying the quality of AI output. Another point that was made that I thought was fascinating was an inferencing or a ChatGPT or a generative AI output could have many sources of information it's drawn on to create that output. And the provenance and multiple sets of traceability are really required to be stored and tied to that output, especially in regulated industries where the source of the decision by the AI will be so important. So what did this session teach us? Firstly, the BCS is amazing, full of amazing people who within an hour and a half expanded not only my knowledge of AI, but my perceived horizons of what's actually happening in the world and the sophistication of people who understand this technology. So thank you. But if you want good outcomes, you need good foundations. Don't move data unless you have to. Know where it is being decrypted. Clean it before you train it. Verify everything, and let's not let AI eat itself. This is much more than data security. It's fundamentally about the infrastructure of intelligence. This is Baseline, and if this has helped, please do drop a comment, hit share, or tag someone who you think could benefit from this information. I'll drop the links to the BCS event list, which I would encourage you to join and enjoy learning from, and I'll see you on the next video.